I attended the debate in the Senate on second reading on the pay raise bill. And I didn't watch the whole thing, but I watched enough to get a few ideas, and I made some notes, and I held off till now. And as Woody Ireland would say, I kept my powder dry. But I'm going to use some today. One of the gentlemen over there said, he referenced the West Virginia Constitution. Article 7, I'll read it right from the Constitution. Article 7, the very first thing it said is, the legislature shall provide by general law for a thorough and efficient system of free schools. So I got a couple questions for you. Thorough. Do we provide a thorough education? Is it thorough? Can anybody in here actually honestly say that it's thorough? How many students, we've all read the numbers, at least anybody that's followed education in West Virginia, how many students, anywhere from 30% to 60% of our students are taking remedial courses in college? So can you honestly say it's thorough? Efficient. Is it efficient? We spend, I think it's the 17th most in the country ranking in states per pupil. But then you look at our teachers' pay and it's 48th. There's a disconnect. Where's that money going? Now, I'm glad I waited to say this because I've had many conversations with teachers, and in the last 24 hours, I've had a conversation with a clearly Democrat teacher from Kanawha County. She's actually a principal, vice principal. And this morning I had a conversation with a teacher in Berkeley County. And two things showed up that was common. I mean, one thing that showed up that was common between both of them: wasting money. And I'll give you a couple examples. The one teacher from Berkeley County says there are books that, and of course we've actually tried to take up some legislation to solve some of this, instead of having the state mandate what books you use. She says she's got books that she's never used that they were required to buy. Now, the other thing that they agreed on was the use of technology. And in our budgets, it's around $10 million that's going into the classroom for technology. But the one gave an example. Each had a different example. So the one said that they had bought Android-type devices that were already obsolete and never used. And a former superintendent, I don't know what the current superintendent's idea is, but the former state superintendent of schools wanted to put a device in every kid's hand. And in Berkeley County, some of our schools, not all of them, but some of them, each student has I think it's called a Chromebook. They're $100 to $200 a piece. I don't know about you, but my priority would rather be, and both teachers agreed on this, we've got kids coming into high school and into middle school that can't write a simple sentence or make change, but yet we're going to give them an electronic device at $100 to $200 a piece that has probably an 18-month life cycle. Where are our priorities? That's insane. But yet we had a superintendent, and like I said, I don't know where the other superintendent is. I do know that our current superintendent, sorry, he's probably not going to like what I say, but he was the founder, one of the people, he was actually the head of the Superintendent's Association in the whole country when Common Core came to West Virginia. Guess where he left when he left West Virginia? Guess where he went? Does anybody know? He actually signed a contract while he still was here and served his last month. He went to a book publisher. And the one thing that I've talked about in these teachers, and it's a common theme, there are certain subjects you really don't need to change the books every 4 or 5 years. Math hasn't changed. Basic math, K through 12, has not changed in basically 100 years. But yet we waste money on things that are irrelevant to kids learning how to read and write. We have a good plan that passed out of finance yesterday. And as long as the money is taken from the place that I've identified, and I've got a few others, by the way. There's a gentleman that just happens to want to fly from Morgantown to Charleston a lot. He spent over $1 million a year flying. And last session alone, spent about $100,000 just flying to Charleston. I got all the facts. It's ridiculous. I can find you some more money. $3 to $5 million from the HEPC. We've got legislation right now that I know that some of the leadership is concerned about because the HEPC might come out and go, ooh, we can't have that. $3 to $5 million. Direct cost. That's not, you count when they're charging the institutions. And I know, obviously, there's some receptiveness to that from our four-year schools because we passed an amendment to include Shepherd in the HEPC bill last year. And by the time I got over to judiciary, I'm sure the gentleman, the chair of education, will shake his head that every school wanted out. Every school came, every four-year school wanted out. There's $3 to $5 million. I can go on. You want me to keep going?